Recording in progress. IG. Market vitals, the levels you need to triage the market. HFR from the floor. From Bandon on the beach. Great big beach this morning, Matt, as super low tide, obviously, right now.
Did you set some crab traps or anything fun?
No, but they have the place where you can bring them right to them and they'll cook it for you.
Nice.
Right here in Bandon. You can go grab a bucket, go on the pier, catch yourself a Dungeness and bring it in and they'll cook it for you. It's pretty
well
sweet.
I've got a new SPAC for you and it's titled Crab. So we're raising 200 million and you can be involved in SPAC.
Matt, that's the theme for today is all about SPACs. Why don't you bring up what a SPAC is? We still haven't got a good definition of the reverse reach around, the reverse repo, but we have information on SPACs. Apparently the empire strikes SPACs.
Publicly traded investment vehicles that raise funds via an initial public offering in order to complete a targeted acquisition.
I go through the 3 steps there. What's the first one?
Listed SPAC, right? Cash held in trust, blind pool of cash, it's blind. So I don't know.
So you have no idea how much money they're actually.
The accredited investors must be blind, is how I read this. And there's a sponsor through the IPO, a bank, who rakes lots of money to acquire private operations of companies that may or may not exist. Then you have the target company that they're trying to buy, right? It may or may not be private, and it may make money or public.
Right.
And then they list it all in this conglomeration of blind pool of cash from blind, again, accredited investors by that financial sponsor who collects the rake, and then it goes to zero. That's basically what happens. That's what I understand.
So it's the blind leading the blind.
Yes.
All right.
And before 2020, we had less than 50 of these in 20 years. They started coming out in 2000. I was looking at the list of this thing, right? There's a whole, you can download a whole spreadsheet of all these things from this website that we're, looking at here, which is SPAC Central or whatever it's called. But you can see here, all these, hundreds of millions of dollars in every one of these, and sometimes billions were raised. And going back to 1987, they started doing these, but there was very few. There was only about 50 until 2020. And then all of a sudden the money came flowing, dude. And look at them all. 21 was insane. There was like 700 of them. And every one of them.
We're still seeing, bring that one up because I don't see that one up. We're still looking at the SPAC. I thought you had a screenshot of all of those companies.
All right. Sorry about that.
No problem. Because it's obviously something changed. In the and we're speculating that maybe the incredible amount of money
I was speculating, you were speculating.
All right, this is a list of all SPACs.
This is a list of all 737 or so, going back to 1987. And again, there was only maybe 50 by 2020, and then all of a sudden, like somebody dug this out again. Like let's get some blind cash from some blind accredited investors and raise hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. I mean, look at the money that exists. And then we bring this up because, then we come to today, right? And let me see. Let's start with the most successful SPAC that I can think of. And that would be, Trump's meme stock, which is Digital World Acquisition Company Corp, right? But even this one came public at 170 and, has been as low as 19s and now is sitting at 23.75. So this one's on its way to zero also, which again, who knows what you're buying if you're buying private companies. I can't believe, honestly, it's talk about take unders. This is like what, like rich mob guys do. They set their wives up with, a retail store and Monmouth, New Jersey, right? And they're just throwing cash out through it. They're just running money through it. So I think SPAC is just basically a public entity that takes private entities and flushes the cash into, again, that whoever is running that pool's pockets. That's how I see
Well,
it.
I mean, you pointed out how many of these come on at relatively the same price point. They decide how many shares are outstanding.
Right.
And there was just in the news, bring up that headline of this company here, right?
Yeah.
Bring up the headline first
I don't
because
know if I don't know if I have it. I'm going to try to, but I just don't know if I have it. Yeah, here it is. So can you see it now?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So former NSA chief Keith Alexander, this is from The Intercept in the last couple of days, accused of a pump and dump scheme. And it says right in here, highly connected former intelligence official. Then, he's a current board member of Amazon, talk about insider galore, right? Head of US Cyber Command and the director of the National Security Agency under Bush, under Obama. And then he enriched, himself with $5 million. So, IRNT was the name of this company.
Seems like a small sum of money if you're going to be that high profile. Aren't you supposed to steal 500 million?
This is when it happened, right? This is August of 21. They come public, wham, jam it up to 52. This is when he dumps it all, of course. And today we're back to $1.20. I mean, it's this is just like the nail in the coffin now, that type of article. I mean, it's down 43%, but it was only at 250. So give me a break. Like this thing's dead. It's been dead. So, and 9 million shares of puke today out of the 40 in the float or whatever it is. So it's done. It's on its way to zero. But every one of these, every single one of these is like this, Bob. So
we did have a list from fnull.com. I don't know who that is, but that's where I'm getting it from. From September 1st, top SPACs with highest returns. Number one on their list is BCACU, Brookline Capital Acquisition.
Well,
Brookline, Massachusetts. No.
Yeah, but here, let me just continue. Like this is what's going on, and just to show you, like we don't, we call spade a spade. Trump's $1 billion funding agreement for Truth Social. That's again, this all has to do with DWAC. Should crumble next week, with hedge funds allowed to walk. So guess what? The financing deal's off. Like that, the stock's done too. Like it's done.
Matt, bring up something else as I have a little terrier that needs to tinkle. Did we look at BC? Bring that up. BC, just because it's the top of the list. BCACU. BCACU. See if you can find it. No. That's great. Thank you. How about DNAA? DNAA.
No.
All right. Thanks for playing. Maybe we should have checked to see if these were actual. See, the SPACs aren't even listed. That's how spackle they are.
Oh, but again, you can see DWAC here. It's just it hit 19, last week, and it's bounced up to 25. You can probably sell it. I mean, these things are just junk. That's the point. It's like, and you and I talked about it in 2021 when these are every day there was a new SPAC. It was like the IPOs. It was like the IPOs of old. So it's just
Look down. That's butterfly.
Here's one, Butterfly Networks. This is apparently one that Lee likes because he likes
Like
butterflies.
it just is.
He loves butterflies. So
Butterflies are free.
this isn't it. It's not even coming up right. This is some iron condor index. So whatever he's showing me, it's trading on some exchange I don't have access to because it's not in trading view. So I don't know. Again, stay away from SPACs unless you're shorting them.
All right, Matt, they're just ripping this market right now. Little midday rip, or are they trying to defend for the weekend to put in a nice Friday? What's your thoughts?
I mean, oil was on sale. I took a big bite out of that down there in the 84s. It's 85, 82, so I'm happy. I don't know. I mean, it's just another bounce, Bob. I mean, we're not, the high of the day was 260. We're sitting here at 130. It's right in the middle of the day. Right in the middle of the day, right in the middle of the range. If you want to buy it, you want to chase, we were oversold. Go for it. Yeah. I already took my money out of this market. I'm not really watching it.
An important, Matt, talk about that just for a little bit more, because how important is it just to walk away from the table?
Well, this especially
I'm
this
actually
time-
particularly good at that in Vegas. I'm particularly good at just walking away, walking off the floor, walking away from the tables. I mean, you got to do that.
Let me just show you the 2-day chart. I mean, we made new lows this morning. The highs that we made overnight, we did not test. They tried this morning, failed, and then we went down, made new lows, marginal new lows. And now we're red for the day still. We're below where we closed yesterday. So, again, what they're doing is it's a one major trap game going on right now. And fine, take it up to 270, take it up to 340. I've been saying 340 is my, unless they can close over here tomorrow, I'm bearish. So, but, I'm not as bearish at 130 as I am at 340. So you got 200 points. So again, what do you want to do? I would wait for, if you're not in it right now, wait for 2.25 to 340. There's your 100 points on the NASDAQ. Sell that area. On the, SPOOs, 60 to 80. Somewhere in there, 36, 8, whatever, or 39, 60 to 80 is probably where you want it. You're getting close. Maybe even 68 is the, point of control for the last 3 days. So again, we're just floating back up to the top, sucking them in. But if you, kind of look at where the market's been this week, we still had, Monday set the tone for the week. And unless we can get over this little bounce that we saw on Monday, which is that 340 level on the NASDAQ, and then on the SPOOs, the same level for me, Bob, is, over 4,000. So I'm not bullish unless it gets over 40-30. I'm not, bearish all the way up to there. You pick your levels where you want to sell. More aggressive if you get up in here, obviously less aggressive. But yesterday, again, we're just holding this 2-day range. We've been in this 2-day range and we made lower lows, but not higher highs. So with that being said, it's midday, it's 10 o'clock, it's the middle of the day. This is when they get bounces. This is when they do what they do. So you shouldn't be surprised that we're seeing a bounce because everybody piled on after we had already gone down 200 points. We went from 240 to 200 or to 12,000, right? So that was, and the low of the morning was here at 12.1. So we're just coming back to 12.1 and we're trading 12.1 and 121 right now. So I'm not overthinking. It's a time of day. Talk to me at noon and see if we're up higher at noon. And if we are, sell some more. You got 2 more, you got 3 hours until the close. It's Thursday.
It is Thursday. First time Prime Video will host a game. Matt, we talked about it before.
It's not the first time they've had games on Prime.
Well, I mean the first season for Prime Video exclusively Thursday Night Football.
Okay. Who are the commentators? Do you know?
That should be me and you, but it's not. Other than that, I'm not really sure.
Okay. Well, people seem to like. Oh, did she just roll down the stairs?
Did you see that? Come here, you fucking creep. There was a stuffed animal that came down the stairs.
But apparently, in other news, Netflix is up 6-7% today because I guess the new fall season's out. I don't know. So
well, maybe it's up because there's insider information knowing that we're going to climate lock down the economy.
Right.
Here your Amazon now.
So anyways, sell some of that. Ding ding. It's up $16, 7.5%, because people apparently, watching TVs and EVs. It's really exciting. It's really exciting out there. I don't know why that's up so big, but we are up big. So
all right, fractal out a little bit. Let's continue the thought process. Where are you for sure a seller here on Netflix?
I mean, it's just like watching dead money. I don't see it getting over 260. So all the way up to you basically
what's the gap, Phil?
It's right here. It already filled it anyway. So that happened.
All right. What's the big down day that the gap in the profile? Let me.
I said it already filled this. It already traded.
Filled that. Yeah. But there's a giant hole in the profile there.
Yeah, but it needs to get above 260. That's the number.
Okay. And where does it go to?
If it gets over 260, it goes 3.25.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I don't see it closing over 260. I just said that. So you sell up.
I understand you don't see it, but that's a giant hole in the profile.
Yeah, but
you're
you see
looking
how
at that-
dead this, you see how dead, yeah, there's, again, dead chart running. But they're having some fun today, they're, the day traders, I guess, they open it up and zoom. But, it's up now $30 from yesterday, so that's a solid 15%. It's not a bad little 2 days. So I think, probably got to be selling it into the weekend.
All right, Matt, speaking of Zoom, unable to see your face for radio for the past 2 days because of problems with Zoom. They came out with an article, or somebody came out with an article talking about the problems worldwide with the platform. Let's look at Zoom.
Yeah, we can look at Zoom. It's up today on the
On your face, being back on Zoom.
Right, it is true. I mean, this is what I do. I mean, this is why, sponsors coming out of the woodwork here.
We're turning them down left and right.
It was 82 yesterday, 80, it was 82 this morning, spiked and sold off. So again, kind of the same thing. Nothing has changed for me. This thing's going to 20, $20 over time, so it's just biding time. 590 was the high, and it's going to trade back to at least 60, the low end. That was the low end. I don't know. There's the life of this stock. Comes public, Zoom, and then COVID happens, and now we're back to basically where it came public, and now it can drip off like the rest of these.
All right. What else do you got?
I got the bond. I want to talk a little bit about the bonds because this is the important stuff. I mean, the big money's still in the bonds, and the bonds are red again on the day. So you're asking me where you want to buy equities? I don't. The bonds are saying there's more to come. What is the date on the Fed? The 23rd, I think, something like that.
I don't know, but they kicked
actually, I think it's the 22nd. 22nd, maybe.
Thursday.
So
They
next
kicked
week,
the rail negotiations down the road for 2 weeks. We said it yesterday that the t-shirts are printed, so they got to be able to walk around with the t-shirts on before they can sell. So they got 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, we got an election in less than 6, I guess now. So all this is related. Everything now is related to that. It's everything. So
All right, fracked a lot on the bonds, just a little bit, please.
how far do you want to see? You want to see a daily chart, and then we're back to the lows? We're testing that bottom. We got down to 131 again yesterday. So we said we would test it. We've done it. We're oversold, but I don't see any buyers in sight.
The amazing thing, Matt, about the bond chart is exactly how far you got to go back.
Well, again, I still think we're going to go down to here. We're going to go down to 113s. That's the point of control. Going back to 1999 when this, they started trading days. Why? I mean, we're going to go back to here.
Wow.
So again, you people want to look at the day chart or the 1 minute chart. It's not giving you the full picture. This is the full picture. We're just getting into this hole. I could see us accelerating down into 120. So be wary of, people telling you that the bond market, it's interesting because even Longplex is like, oh, we're about to have a big turn. Oh, you might have a turn, but it's not going to be a long term.
Long-term turn.
You might have a turn, but it's not going to be
Right.
a long-term turn. That's right.
Right, exactly. Easier
Yeah,
for you to say. Yeah,
Well,
no, I agree.
I just don't see it unless we get over 145 again. I mean, this thing it's flat out been broken now, since March. We're just 6 months into a bond bear market, right? Really, like that trend line is really important. Forget that we made the high back in March of 20 when COVID came out. So again, this makes sense. It should be going down, which means interest rates up because we got to get rid of the SPACs and all the shit that we started the show with. Like all that stuff has to come out. All that froth is being destroyed, right? Whoever that blind capital was, they're wiping it out. They're just taking it from your hands to their hands. And if you can't see it, this is why these products, you need to be wary of such products, right?
Yeah, and how about, somebody like Chamath, so high on his horse all the time.
Well, again, because he
And
was
then
selling to you the whole time.
But it's all these people that came out with them. They're like, oh, wow, this is a great way to capture a ton of capital.
Yes, not mine either.
Yes. Why didn't I think about this before?
Yes.
Matt, if it looks like dog shit, and
Smells like it, and then you step in it, it's probably dog shit.
you really didn't need to step in.
You
it,
didn't
is
really
the
need to
point.
step in it, right? Take advantage of the skid mark that you see in the other person who tested it. Like that also tells you that it's dog shit. So don't step in it.
All right, what else do we got? Anything?
Not really. It's pretty quiet.
I got the Chargers and 4, as I thought that should be more like a 2.5 point line.
Yeah, I'm going to join you with that. I'm going to jump on and take the local boy, A-Bear. I'm calling him A-Bear for now on.
I like that too, don't you, Herbert? I don't
Yeah.
like Herbert so much. I you know,
Yeah.
the Manja TV in me says A-Bear. You know, it's.
I mean, I know he
you want
grew up
French
in-
cuisine on your
I
team.
know he
don't
grew
you?
up in Eugene and all that, but I'm going to call him A-Bear. He's definitely French. He's definitely French Canadian. Don't you think?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Comes
so
from
let's-
a long line of trappers. 100%.
Let's take the under, because everybody's going to bet the over, and the Chargers. Let's do that.
Under in the Chargers. Tomorrow we got Matt's 5-team NCAA parlay.
One game.
All right,
5-team parlay coming tomorrow on Market Vitals.
better come up with that one. Oof.
Yeah. Well, you said yesterday you were eyeballing at least 5 games. Now we don't have to go with the full 5-game parlay. What you eyeballed 5 games. Why don't we do a 3-teamer, your best 3-team of the 5?
All right.
In fact, why don't we wheel it? Why don't we wheel all combinations of 3 of the 5? Matt, how many bets is that?
That would be
Lee, you're an old track guy. How many bets if you like 5 horses and you wheel for the trifecta?
I think it would be about.
Double or triple wheel.
I think about 15-ish, but I'm not positive.
1 with every other 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. We need a track guy. That's what, there's an old Italian adage.
Or is it 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1? So 20, 60. It might be 120 combinations.
No, there's no way there's that many.
I don't know.
3 combinations in 5.
I'd just say 5
So
times 3.
it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 5.
I
right?
just said it's 15, Bob. So that's what I think it is. So that's
All
fine.
right.
Yeah.
The old Italian adage is may your son be a horse player if you do not like the guy. May your son be a horse
Oh, we
player.
can talk about one more thing. We can talk about
Yes,
one more.
maybe your daughter.
We can talk about one more thing, which is Kanye quit. He quit the Gap. I guess he doesn't want to work at the Gap anymore. So let's take a look.
Kanye, no more schlepping for the Gap. Is that it?
Yeah, he's pissed at the board or whatever is going on there. So he must have sold all the stock already. So now he can piss on their backs.
I actually
37
kind of like it down there at the lows, the low. end of that
37 down to
profile.
9. That's 9, number 9. And the COVID low. Would you like to know the COVID low for the Gap?
387.
517. So maybe you should bid 517.
Well, that has been a theme for months and months and months on this program. Everything shall revisit their COVID low.
Yes.
So,
And speaking of COVID lows and shitty asset classes, once again, there's no safety in an inflationary environment with gold. We've made another new low. Remember when we said sell the rally to 1825? Now we're at 1670. Testing the March 21 low. And the COVID low, by the way, for gold, it may lead us there. Maybe the first one of the indices to get to the COVID low was way down in the hole here at 1451. So another 10%. And you can see we're entering the hole here, right? So it's very nicely entering it. And why wouldn't we go to 1450, Bob?
well, the market's job, right, is to
I mean,
deliver
what do you
pain.
tell me? What do you see? You see us in this hole here, right?
Absolutely, and I also love the long-term point of control in and
Down there,
about the area.
1505, and that takes you
Yeah.
back to 2018, 19. So you're looking at almost 5 years there. 5-year chart. gets really, look at the levels. Still down here, the big numbers, 1,300. There's froth. There's still tons of froth and gold. Can you believe it? I mean,
Wow.
look at that overhead you're going to have to overcome now to take out 2,100. Whew.
At what point, Matt, does a gold pumper actually sit and say, I'm wrong? Or can they never do that? Does
When
that
they
never
do,
come out?
when the gold pumpers are telling you to sell gold, that is when I will buy gold.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not going to be at a high price, I can tell you that.
And for sure, especially in a leveraged bet, if you're
Yes.
trading the futures on this, at some point that really becomes important. Like
Yeah.
the leverage is the killer here.
So Bob,
It's not that you bought 1 ounce of gold at 1,700 and it goes to 1,400. Who gives a shit? You're out $300.
right.
It's that you're leveraged. Most of these vehicles are highly leveraged, and
Take a
hello.
look. So we're at a key juncture here. Like if this 1660 doesn't hold like tomorrow or by the end of the month, because we got monthlies, weeklies coming up again. That's, I mean, like you said, there's one little diving board here just to spring off of before you jump down to this one. Right. So you might bounce a little bit here and then you're gonna whoosh. Like there's 2 whooshes coming here.
Not only that, Matt, here's the function of a market. If there's a big whoosh down, all right, now that giant bracket becomes a ceiling, and any rally back to there, people
Just
that are in bad positions are frothing at the bit to sell.
They're just
on a
pounding
rally.
it. They're pounding it out to get break even again. Exactly. If they bought the 1670 level and we break it, that's exactly right. When it rides down to 1,500 next, then they're like, oh shit, now what do I do? Oh,
You call Jim Rickards and ask him what I should do.
and you call Jim Cramer too, so he'll tell you what to do.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, market vitals. Go ahead, Matt. One last thought from Matt.
No, I'm just saying, just call the gyms.
We actually do like playing trends like that, in everything, including names. What does Jim say? Well, let's take a look at our favorite gyms. I do that a lot of times on tweets and retweets. Like I will add in all the gyms that I follow on a particular tweet.
I like that.
It's actually it's a good way to share. Sharing is caring. Hey, Rita, come here. Come here, Rita. Come here. Come here. Come on. Rita is in peak. I need a haircut, Rita. Rita, say hi to the folks. Rita's ready to go to the beach. There's one thing a blind dog loves is the open expanse of a beach.
Does she do her run and then skid out and just roll through the muck?
If given the opportunity, she will.
Yeah.
And she drinks the ocean water too, like an idiot.
And then does she?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Mhm.
All right, man. I will see you tomorrow, Matt, and then it will be back to Bend. And we have some important news to share from Bend next week. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Lee.